everyone, it's Becky from Book Obsessed Becky. I am coming at you today with a new book haul. I have quite a stack here, and I don't do scripted videos, so I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. I do have my tea with me. It's a yogi tea. It's sweet tangerine, positive energy flavored, and I really like it. It's usually a go-to. I usually have a couple of cups of it a day, and it's in my cute little Winnie the Pooh and Tigger mug. So I guess you can see the top part of my books here. I have them on a TV tray. And yeah, I guess I should just get right into it. And if my face is red, it's because I'm flipping roasting. I don't know how we go from 40 degrees to in the 60s, but I'm hot. So I have the windows open. Hopefully my face isn't too red in the video. And yeah, okay, that's enough blabbering. Let's just get on this. So the first book I have here, I picked up when we took our son to Prince Edward Island back in September. They have, I think it's called Indigo Books. They don't have a Barnes & Noble that I've seen or a Books A Million. So of course I had to go in because in the States where I am, they don't have an Indigo Books. And I found this book. It's called The Air Raid Book Club. And I picked it up because it's historical fiction. It's based in London in 1938. And it was a staff pick, a lady named Julia that works there. Which is kind of funny because she's the one that checked me out. And she's like, oh, you picked up the book that I'm recommending. I said, yeah, is it going to make me cry? And she said she didn't think it would because it didn't make her cry. But it says on the front here, a warm and tender tale about the power and healing of friendship and community and the magic of books. So I was like, yes, yes, please. And it's London, 1938. It says the bookstore just doesn't feel the same as Gertie Bingham ever since the death of her husband, Harry. Bingham Books was a dream they shared, and without Harry, Gertie wonders if it's time to take her faithful old lab, Hemingway, and retire to the seaside. But fate has other plans for Gertie. In Germany, Hitler's on the rise, and Jewish families are making the heart-wrenching decision to send their children away from the growing turmoil. Gertie decides to take in one of these refugees, a headstrong teenage girl named Hetty. Willful and fearless, Hetty reminds Gertie of herself at the same age and shows Gertie that she can't give up just yet. When the Blitz begins and bombs whistle overhead, Gertie and Hetty come up with the idea to start an air raid book club. Together with neighbors and bookstore customers, they hold lively discussions about everything from Winnie the Pooh to Wuthering Heights. After all, a good book can do wonders to bolster people's spirits, even in the most trying of times. I'm just saying I want to be a part of that book club because I love Winnie the Pooh and I love Wuthering Heights and everything in between. So it sounds fantastic. This book sounds fantastic, and for some reason I am drawn to historical fiction this time of year, and especially World War II time and anything in the UK, which is kind of weird, but it's just how it is. I am. So that's the first book I have on the list. The next one has been an anticipated release for me because I love this author, Jenny Colgan. She writes such cozy books, and usually it's based in Scotland. Well, I want to say Scotland, but UK based, and the ones that I've read involve some kind of yarn. I mean, not all of them. It's either books or yarn, which is totally my jam because I love to knit, and this is a book channel. So, makes sense to me, right? Anyways, this book just came out in the late summer. It's called Close Knit. This is what it looks like. And I'm very excited about it because, like I said, I love her books. And I don't know if I want to read too much of the back. Oh, I don't know. Yes, I'm going to. So it says, a glorious and romantic summer novel set in Scotland's windswept Northern Isles. Okay, so I'm a mood reader and I'm a seasonal reader, and this is set in summer, so that is a bit of a problem because I'm excited to read this book because I love Jenny Colgan, but do I save it for the summertime or do I just say screw it and dive in now? I'm not really sure. Are you guys mood seasonal kind of readers, or do you just say screw it and read it whenever you want to read it? If you feel up to it, let me know down below because I'm always curious to know. Okay, so it says, in the northernmost reaches of Scotland, where a string of little islands stretches toward Norway, lives Gertie, a proud island girl by birth. Her social circle is small but tight. Family and friends, particularly the women in her knitting circle, The whitewashed cottages of their hometown everyone knows everyone, and the ladies of the knitting circle know more than most. In a place long and dark winters, the knitting circle is a precious source of gossip, laughter, and the comfort for them all. And while she knits, Gertie's busily plotting what to do with the rest of her life. When Gertie develops a crush on Callum, who owns the local airline, she dares herself to take a job as a flight attendant on the little plane that serves the islands. Terrifying at first, the puddle jumper also offers her first taste of real freedom. While Gertie's future lies in the skies, will Gertie's future lie in the skies, or will she need to go further afield to find adventure she craves? Yeah, this sounds fantastic. And again, I'm torn on when to read it, but knitting in Scotland and travel and knitting in Scotland. Like, knitting in Scotland. There's no more I need to know about it. It just sounds amazing to me. And the cover is fantastic with the yarn store in the back and the bike that's been yarn bombed. Absolutely. I am here for it. Okay. This next book I am excited to read. I wanted to read it before Halloween, but today is Halloween, so I'm obviously not going to get it read before the end of day because I'm only on page 32 because I'm reading multiple books right now like a crazy person. So I've kind of set this one down because I'm trying to finish another book, but I'm going to be picking it up because I need to read it. It's called Rewitched. It's a new release, and on the front it says, "Believing in yourself is its own kind of magic." And I think that is just the perfect autumn book cover. It says, in this spellbinding, warm, and cozy debut novel, a burned-out witch will need to turn to her friends and trust herself to find the magic in her own life again. So Belladonna Blackthorn hasn't lost her magical spark, precisely, but she hasn't seen it in a while either. With her witchcraft under wraps and a toxic boss making her days miserable, Belle is struggling to keep her beloved lunar books afloat and just make it through the day. The last thing she has time for is perfecting her magic. So when her 30th birthday brings a summons from her coven and a trial that tests her worthiness as a witch, Belle fears the worst. With only the month of October left to either prove herself or risk losing her magic forever, Belle will need all she can get from the women in her life, from an unlikely mentor figure, and even from an infuriating coven watchman who's sworn to protect her. Yeah. Okay, this sounds good. I mean, like I said, I'm 32 pages in, and I think it's good anyways. But yeah, I'm here for it. And I've already put one tabby in it because I've already underlined something in here. But Sarah Beth Durst, the woman that wrote The Spell Shop, she says that she was completely charmed by this delightful and endearing novel about rediscovering your spark. Turning 30 has never been so magical. So yeah, I'm excited about this, and I know it's going around BookTube and everything right now. Of course it is. It's a new release. It's the witchy season, and it makes sense. And the cover's amazing. Okay, back to Indigo Books in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. I picked up another book. It's called A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting. And Taylor Jenkins Reid has a little blurb here on the front. It says, a sharp, modern, and absolutely delicious take on the marriage plot. So on the back, it says, Kitty Talbot needs a fortune. Or rather, she needs a husband who has a fortune, left with her father's massive debts. She has only 12 weeks to save her family from ruin. Never one to back down from a challenge, Kitty leaves home and heads toward the most dangerous battleground in all of England, the London season. The only thing she doesn't anticipate is Lord Radcliffe, the worldly Radcliffe, sees Kitty for the mercenary fortune hunter that she really is, and is determined to thwart her plans at all costs until their pairing takes a completely different turn. People magazine says Bridgerton fans will swoon over this entertaining romp through Britain's Regency-era high society. Nita Prose from the New York Times, best-selling author, says it's plucky, witty, and bright. And yeah, I'm here for it. Like I said, anything UK back in the day, sign me up. And the big dresses, yeah, I'm excited for this one. I think I'll probably say I'm excited for every book here. I can't help it. I really am excited for all these books. So this book that I picked up just recently, I got it from BAM, or Books A Million, at my bookstore. I've read the first one in the series. I did it as a buddy read, and and it was called Can't Spell Treason Without T. And I discovered that there's a second book in the series, and it's called A Pirate's Life for Tea. And I am so excited about it. It's got the sprayed edges. They're going on an adventure. I can't say pretty much anything about this book because I don't want to ruin the first book. But Can't Spell Treason Without T is about two women. One is the Queen's Guard, and one is the magical mage or witch or whatever. And she's like the all-powerful one, and I don't want to say too much about that one either because I don't want to ruin it, but there might be a bit of a romance, there might be a bit of a small town, and a new bookshop coming about with tea and tons of plants. And all I'm going to say is if you love Legends and Lattes and like the Travis Baldry vibe, then you are going to like Can't Spell Treason Without T. And you'll probably like this one. I'm very excited to get to this one when the time comes. I'm going to do it as a buddy read. It says a cozy fantasy where love sets sail. So if you're about the cozy fantasy vibes, then give these books a go. Yeah, I can't say any more than that because I don't want to ruin the first one, and I don't really want to know what happens in the second one either. I just kind of want to go in blind. So there's that. Okay, so the next books here I'm going to talk about are from Book of the Month, and they sent me this little A Spell for Disappearing like magazine. I don't know if it's something that they're going to be putting in every box or if it's just like it was the first one that they did up, so they were giving it to everybody. But I haven't read it yet. I'm excited too. It's just a little like short story kind of a deal. It says darker, edgier, stranger, want more. Add the next volume to your box. That's all it says. Like I said, I haven't looked at it yet, but I'm going to get to it. Okay. So this was I can't remember. I think it was last month. I think this was my last month's pick or October's pick. A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. I loved this book. I read it. I thought it was fantastic. I love Nettle and Bone as well. I also had read A Wizard's Guide to Baking or something like that. Like, I'm a fan of T. Kingfisher, and this book was amazing. And the sister in this book I found to be absolutely fantastic. Her name is Hester. So it says, and there is a bit of blood and such in here, so if that's something that bothers you, then beware. And like child abuse, mind controlling kind of stuff, so beware again. But it says Cordelia knows her mother is unusual. Their house doesn't have any doors between rooms, there are no secrets in this house, and her mother doesn't allow Cordelia to have a single friend, unless you count Falada. I think that's how you say the name. Her mother's beautiful white horse. The only time Cordelia feels truly free is on her daily rides with him. But more than simple eccentricities sets her mother apart. Other mothers don't force their daughters to be silent and motionless for hours, sometimes days on end. Other mothers aren't evil sorceresses. When her mother unexpectedly moves them into a manor home of a wealthy older squire and his kind but keen-eyed sister Hester, remember, she's like my favorite character in here, Cordelia knows this welcoming pair are to be her mother's next victims. But Cordelia feels at home for the very first time among these people, and as her mother's plans darken, she must decide how to face the woman who raised her to save the people who have become like family. Okay, so there is a cast of characters in here as well, and each character I thought was great. I loved everything about this story, but definitely Hester is my favorite. So if you're a T. Kingfisher fan, I think you'll like this. If you like kind of the witchy, spooky, little bit of horror-y type vibes, but not too bad, I think you're gonna like this. It takes place back in the day, and yeah, I absolutely love it. So Book of Witching, I'm excited about this book. I got it in my October box. It says on the front, 400 years that separate them, one book binds them. A mother must fight for her daughter's life in this fierce and haunting tale of witchcraft and revenge. Clem gets a call that is every mother's worst nightmare. Her 19-year-old daughter, Erin, is unconscious in the hospital after a hiking trip with her friends on the remote Orkney Islands met a horrifying end, leaving her boyfriend dead and her best friend missing. When Erin wakes, she doesn't recognize her mother, and she doesn't answer to her name, but insists she is someone named Nick. Maybe that's how you say it. Maybe that's not how you say it. I'm not really sure. I didn't check on Google for the pronunciation, so I'm just going to go with it. Anyways, it says, Clem travels to the site of her daughter's accident, determined to find out what happened to her. The answer may lay in a dark secret in the history of the Orkneys. A woman wrongly accused of witchcraft and murder 4 centuries ago. Clem begins to wonder whether Erin's strange behavior is a symptom of a broken mind or the effects of an ancient curse. Oh my gosh, that sounds fantastic. I have all these books to read, and like that Halloween time is passing me by. I don't know if I'm going to get them all read. Do I read them in November, or do I start up on Christmas books? I'm not really sure, but I'm looking forward to this one. All right, I'm coming at you with another, I think this is another type of witchy book. I'm not sure, but it was my September book of the month pick. It's called The Love Elixir of Augusta Stern. I think that's how you say the name. I love the cover. And it says it's never too late for new beginnings. On the cusp of turning 80, newly retired pharmacist Augusta Stern is adrift when she relocates to an active senior community in southern Florida. She unexpectedly crosses paths with Irving, the delivery boy from her father's old pharmacy, and the man who broke her heart 60 years earlier. Okay, I think this book is going to make me cry. When Augusta, or maybe it's Augusta, I don't know. It's one of them. Like I said, I'm terrible with names. Anyways, when she was a teenager growing up in the 1920s, Brooklyn, her role model was her father, Solomon Stern, the trusted owner of the local pharmacy and the neighborhood expert on every ailment. But when her mother dies and her great aunt Esther moves in, she can't help but be drawn to Esther's curious methods. As a healer herself, Esther offers Solomon's customers her own advice, unconventional remedies, ranging from a homemade chicken soup to mysterious powders and potions. As she prepares for pharmacy college, she is torn between loyalty to her father and fascination with her great aunt, all while navigating a budding but complicated relationship with Irving. Desperate for clarity, she impulsively uses Esther's most potent elixir with disastrous consequences. Disillusioned and alone, Augusta, I don't know, vows to reject Esther's enchantments forever. 60 years later, confronted with Irving, she is still haunted by the mistakes of her past. What happened all those years ago, and how did her plan go so spectacularly wrong? Did Irving ever truly love her, or was he simply playing a part? And can she reclaim the magic of her youth before it is too late? Yeah, this sounds like such a cozy read, and it sounds like it's going to make me cry, like talking about how this man broke her heart 60 years before. Like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. I know I'm gonna cry, but I'm still excited about it. Okay, The Wedding People. That was my August book of the month pick. I think it's a Jenna Bush Hagar pick. I think that's her name as well. Book club pick. I don't know. I thought it sounded great. And yeah, let me tell you about it. It says a propulsive and uncommonly wise novel about one unexpected wedding guest and the surprising people who help her start anew. It's a beautiful day in Newport, Rhode Island, when Phoebe Stone arrives at the Grand Cornwall Inn wearing a green dress and gold heels. Not a bag in sight. Alone. She's immediately mistaken by everybody in the lobby for one of the wedding people. But she's actually the only guest at the Cornwall who isn't here for the big event. Phoebe is here because she's dreamed of coming for years. She hoped to shuck oysters and take sunset sails with her husband, only now she's here without him, at rock bottom, and determined to have one last decadent splurge on herself. Meanwhile, the bride has accounted for every detail and every possible disaster the weekend might yield, except for, well, Phoebe and Phoebe's plan, which makes it that much more surprising when the two women can't stop confiding in each other. In turns absurdly funny and devastatingly tender, The Wedding People is ultimately an incredibly nuanced and resonant look at the winding paths we can take to places we never imagined, and the chance encounters it sometimes takes to reroute us. Okay, yeah, this is going to make me cry as well. Probably not a book I'll be reading in public. Along with this one, I won't be reading this in public either because I am a crier, and these two sound like they're going to be heavy hitting on the crying stuff. So, yeah, that's my book of the month books. Okay, so my battery just crapped out. I have no idea where I left off, so I'm just going to start again. So the next book I have here is called Big Vegan Flavor. And she has a YouTube channel and she has a blog, and it's called, where is it? It's called Rainbow Plant Life, and I love her channel. I go to her blog for recipes. I own one of her other cookbooks. It's really fantastic. It's another one for an Instant Pot, like vegan recipes for an Instant Pot. And this says a vegan flavor Bible that codifies the fundamental principles of exceptional plant-based cooking for the first time. Learn ingredient combinations and easy techniques that will up your game and bring your meals to a whole new level. This is a must-have vegan cooking resource from the creator and enormously popular Rainbow Plant Life YouTube channel and blog. So, like, fun fact, she used to be a lawyer, and she decided that that just wasn't for her anymore, and she went into cooking. And on her channel, she sometimes has her parents on there, like, taste testing things, and they're hilarious. Their relationship with their daughter, I think, is just fantastic. I'm excited to try some of these recipes. There are like full-on colored pictures, and I'm kind of pumped to try this life-changing homemade chili crisp. So I've never had this before, but the picture just looks to me like mouth-watering. I like spicy things, so yeah, I'm here for it. But again, it's a beautiful book. It's a big book, like it's heavy. I think it says techniques and 100, it says techniques and 150 recipes to master vegan cooking. So I'm excited to get into this. But yeah, this is my book haul. I have been collecting it for months. It's not like I got all of this in the matter of the past month. No, they've been collected, well, since the last time I did a new book haul, which I don't even remember when that was because I'd taken a little hiatus away from YouTube. So sorry about that, but here I am, like second week in a row, putting a video out there, and it's Halloween, so that's pretty awesome. Like, who is this girl? For real. But again, I'm super excited about all of my books here. I don't know if I'm going to get them all read, like, throughout the rest of the year, or, you know, they're going to trickle over to next year, or let's be honest, I'm a book dragon and I hoard books, so it might be years before I get to some of these, hopefully not. So I'll be reading this one soon, and I will hopefully have a review up for it soon. Yeah. So, I mean, if you want to share, what are you reading now? Have you read any of these books? Do you know any of these authors? Like, yeah. I guess that's pretty much everything. I mean, my dog's looking at me right now from outside. He's peering in at me because I put him outside when I record because did you hear that? He just jumped on the door. Like, he's ready to come in. So, I guess I'm going to cut this short and not be too rambly. I hope everybody is doing well, and I will speak to you all very soon. Bye!